Hi, my name's John. Welcome to another Sunday night nightcap. In tonight's nightcap I get a little bit more work done on the DC generator. I do a little bit of work on the armature. I also modify some aluminium panels off of some stage lighting setup. I have to bore some holes and do a little bit of aluminium welding. Last week I put some casting video on some old footage and it really did go down well. People asking for more, so in part 2 I'm going to also put another old video relisted with some casting. This is the commutator out of that DC generator. I'm busy repairing or restoring. I'm going to put it in the lathe and polish these shafts up, and I'll probably end up polishing the commutator as well, that part there where the brushes run. I know that fan wants straightening. Now this end of the shaft has got a hole in, so I can put a centre in there, but this end it's got nothing in, and I would like a centre in there as well. Well, the first thing I want to do is screw the long bolt back in there, because that bolt actually holds this part of the commutator onto the main shaft. Remember, we took the bolt out, so I'm going to put this in the lathe first and put a centre mark into there, and then screw that back together. I think that's actually a nut on the end of there. It's a stud with a nut on the end. Pretty sure it is. Tool's not quite on centre for some reason. It's obviously moved. Sure, you can see how that's got the wobbles on, it's pissed, and I want to remove that. A lot better than it was. A lot better. settle for that, that's reasonable. I'm going to polish some of the golden marks off there with some nice fine wet and dry and nice fine emery tip. This end's not running through because obviously the bolt hasn't pulled up through, but it doesn't really matter, all I'm going to do is polish that. Nice long bit of tape so my hands are well away from everything, and I'm only holding it between finger and thumb. Right, one thing you mustn't do is go anywhere near the commutator with emery tape, because emery conducts electricity. You need to use old-fashioned glass sandpaper or Scotch-Brite. And this commutator is actually very good, it hasn't done a great deal of work, but it doesn't appear to have. Right, that's brightened it up, that's sufficient, that's all it needs. Point to screw and dessert with it. This is the first time I've actually used a fixed steady off this lathe. It's an item that normally lies rotting away in the bottom of the lathe, which is a shame because they're all very handy. So I've got little plastic pads on there. I'm going to set it up on the diameter of this shaft at this end, and then when we turn the shaft round, I can move this down the lathe and hold that central so I can put a drill mark on the end of it. That's basically those two set now, and that one screws down, a little bit of lubricant, and that's what stops the shaft from moving. So we'll move it to the other end, turn it round and see if we can get a centre drill into the end of there. I also want to machine a keyway in there as well. Quite a heavy bastard thing that. The steady fits onto that V and onto the flat on the bed like that, exactly the same as a tailstock, and there's a piece that goes in there just the same as a tailstock once again, and that's what locks it all into place. Come on, bastard pictures. Right, so that goes in there like that, and you can put it anywhere you want. Depending on what you're going to do, it depends where you have the lathe carriage. We're just going to centre drill that, but if we're going to machine it, we need this on the other side of there. I'm sure everybody's set jobs up in the lathe, clocked them in and everything, and then found out the bastard carriage is on the wrong side of the steady. Right, we'll have it the shaft mounted back in, I think. Nip on there, nothing spectacular, doesn't need to be spectacular. Right. These are always awkward to tighten. You often find you end up making spanners, bent spanners and whatnot to get in there. Another box for one was a nightmare, but this is... See, I've never used it before, I've never had to. That'll be a good subject for a video, the use of that. I've got thousands of pounds of spanners at work and I piss them up with just about to do them. Anyway, it does the job. Right, so we need to put a little bit of load on that one just to hold it down. Not a great lot, it doesn't need to be super duper tight. There's little grub screws in there that also lock the pins into place. Come on. Right. Put the tailstock back on now and we can drill that. We'll polish that little end bit there that we couldn't get to before. This is always a good time to nip a finger, getting this bastard thing back on. Oh. Pretty good. If I had the carriage on this side, I could face that, but all I want to do is put a centre drill into it. See, there's very little wear on that brass or bronze tip. And the plastic pads are a nice idea. As soon as you get rollers on the end of here, the trouble is with a roller, if you get a bit of metal swarf in, it damages the shaft. You often see lads on it for machining here, they'll have a piece of cardboard on there with just the shaft sticking out so nothing can get jammed into the workings of the steady. Clumsy bastard. Right,